From the Alvin and Rosalie Sarachek studio, PBS Kansas presents Hatteberg's People.
All right, everybody, time to once again peel back the curtain on the extraordinary lives of everyday Kansans, revealing secret histories, hidden talents, and the legacies they built.
We'll meet the D-Day veteran from Wichita, Warren Barrett, who flew into Normandy on the silent wings of an unarmed glider.
And then the 14-year-old phenom, Julie Graves, a young woman in a small Kansas town who wasn't just taking the class, she was teaching it.
Plus, the retired farmer, Jay Sundgren, whose hand-carved masterpieces came from a very special source, walnut trees planted by his father decades before.
And we'll introduce you to Jose Oliveras, the man who ran Wichita's Omnisphere and whose local fame hid a secret. I'm Larry Hatteberg.
I'm Susan Peters. Join us for all these stories and more coming up now on Hatteberg's People.
These stories are like old friends. Their lives radiate from the screen like prophets of the past. They were teachers, but not in a classroom. Instead, they taught about life to those around them who cared to listen, and I was their student. In most cases, it takes years of experience to become a leader and earn the community's respect.
But in 1994, we found a town where one of its most influential mentors wasn't even old enough to drive.
Yeah, at just 14 years old, Julie Graves was already a professional, proving that passion and talent are really only the qualifications you truly need.
1, 2, up, 1, 2, up, 1, 2, other arms up, 1, 2, up, 1, 2, up.
Her name is Julie Graves. She teaches dance in Anthony, Kansas. She is 14.
Try it again, 5, 6. I feel like everybody has a mission that God gives you, and I think that this is part of my mission. Throw your hips forward and make your body a straight line.
Julie has well over 100 students, many younger, some older.
I think that's the best part of teaching is that you change a lot of lives. Step out again, and step.
Julie's been teaching dance since she was 11 years old. Now she's an entrepreneur. She's buying the old duck wall building in Anthony for her dance studio. Her parents got the loan for her. She pays them. Her mom, Donna, does the bookwork.
I think that she will succeed at anything she decides to do because she just has that want to.
Next week, if you can, stay an hour.
Julie has taken dance from some of the best teachers in the area, and many say she seems to have a natural talent.
5, 6, 7, 8, and up. Raise your hand if you have questions. I kind of make it a goal that whoever's in the audience, I try to find someone that's not smiling, and that's the person I try and make smile by the end of the routine. Every time you got to change feet.
She's always seemed a little bit older than her age to me. She thinks a little ahead of herself, I think.
Just kick your leg up. Now throw your hips forward.
In school, she makes straight A's, is a cheerleader, and will be a freshman. Now, think about yourself at 14.
You're stepping too far over on your second step. You have responsibility, though, to be a role model. And in a small town, everybody knows what you do, so you really have to look out for that, you know. Because there's lots of little kids, and it seems like every time you turn around, one of them is looking at you. So you always have to be aware that they're there. Okay, combination, don't understand why you, on the word you need to snap your head down at them.
If she is an entrepreneur at 14, what's the future? Well, she says she'd like to be a fashion designer. Her mother says broadcasting is a possibility, but right now, teaching dance is her life.
Good, head, shoulders, roll. How I see my job is just as kind of fun, you know, and it's not really a job. It's like I would be watching TV if I wasn't here, you know. Step, slide, clap, and up.
Julie continued teaching dance through college while earning a degree at Kansas State in fashion design. Then she got married, and then she started a nonprofit aimed at providing employment for poor people in India, making clothing. I mean, this girl did everything.
She really did. And Julie and her husband and their 2 teenagers recently moved to Florida. Now, she works remotely now for her family's trucking company based in her hometown of Anthony. The talent that people have always stuns me and amazes
Doesn't
me.
it?
It's incredible. Congratulations to her.
She started a nonprofit, she taught dance, was a fashion designer, and now she's working for her family's trucking company.
And when you say all that, I get tired because she's doing so much. I don't know how she could do it all.
Exactly, that's incredible. Okay, in 1994, most Wichitans knew Jose Oliveras as the man who brought the mysteries of the cosmos down to earth at Wichita's Omnisphere.
But what his local audience didn't know was that his professional reputation reached far beyond our Kansas sky.
On clear nights, I can't help but be out here with a telescope. The entire universe is open here to me in my backyard.
Jose Oliveras is one of those Wichitans who we take for granted.
Don't need a spaceship, don't need a rocket, just a nice telescope.
You know him as the guy who heads Wichita's Omnisphere.
Working okay?
But what most of us didn't know about him is that he's one of this country's leading experts on Jupiter.
Couple spots.
Oh, yes.
It has 4 moons, and those are 3 of them.
For over 30 years, he's studied the red planet. He writes detailed articles for national magazines on astronomy and also publishes articles in academic publications like the Journal of the Association of Lunar and Planetary Observers.
So it's always fascinating, always different, never boring.
At home, the dining area is lost in outer space.
It's supposed to be the breakfast nook, but we took out anything to be breakfast and made it my little observatory where I store the telescopes.
Jose talks to people all over the world about Jupiter. The Voice of America uses him as an expert. Radio stations in Boston, Orlando, and California routinely have him on talk shows about Jupiter. But in Wichita, the media tends to ignore his national expertise, but that doesn't bother him.
You know, I do it, and I don't do it for recognition. I do it because it's fun.
With a comet fragment striking Jupiter all week, it's been one of the most exciting weeks of Oliveras' life.
We looked at it last night with my telescope here, and we had these gigantic spots on the planet in a place in the southern hemisphere that nothing like this has ever been seen. And these things were 20,000 miles in diameter, each one, and there were 2, one following another. In the history of our observation of Jupiter, this has never been seen by any astronomer at any time.
Sometimes we don't know who we have in our own backyard. Jose Oliveras continues to quietly put Wichita on the Earth map by searching the heavens in constant research.
It's part of me now. I have this communion with the stars, with the universe. It's extremely satisfying. It's something I want to do for the rest of my life.
Jose Oliveras continued as director of the Wichita Omnisphere until 1997, when his expertise took him to California to become the director of astronomy for the Chabot Space and Science Center.
Then he retired to Florida in 2001, but never stopped sharing his passion. Jose remained an active teacher and speaker, sharing his love of the stars with others until he passed away in 2006 at the age of 62. He was a fascinating man. I watched his presentations many, many times when he was here. And so smart, so intelligent, and he was really a gift to the Wichita community.
The Omnisphere was really, really cool. I remember it. It was really, really a cool place. And he died way too young, 62.
He did.
But
we were fortunate to have him for a moment in time.
exactly. Now he lives on in Hatteberg's people.
He does.
Okay, when we picture the D-Day invasion, we think of the roaring planes and the thousands of ships crossing the English Channel.
But there was another invasion force that day, one that flew in on silent wings in motorless, unarmed gliders filled with troops and supplies.
Wichita's Warren Barrett was one of those pilots, guiding his aircraft through enemy fire on what was essentially a one-way trip.
Back in 1994, I met the man whose mission of bravery didn't end when his glider crash landed, and all the gliders crash landed. It continued on the battlefield itself.
Even at that time, it was considered more or less a suicide mission.
From the calm of his East Wichita backyard, Warren Barrett remembers D-Day like yesterday.
Were we scared? I think we were too hepped up to be scared. Were we frightened? Very definitely.
His job was to ferry paratroopers and heavy weapons that couldn't be dropped by parachute. He piloted a motorless glider with no armament.
And then at the last minute, instead of me flying the American glider that we were used to flying,
he was switched to a British glider, and that made the moment even more tense.
We were overloaded. We had a hard time getting off the runway.
In the English Channel, thousands of Allied ships headed for the French coast.
If we had to ditch, I wasn't sure where we would sit down because it didn't look like there'd be enough room. I mean, there was that many ships down there on it.
Barrett says the term glider was a little misleading. Once the tow plane let go, the glider headed down. The glide path was short, the landings treacherous.
But we did get off and we did get there. It was a crash landing, but no one was hurt.
Once he was on the ground, he became part of the infantry.
And I helped pick up a number of wounded off of the battlefield and helped carry them up to the first aid station. And there was a lot of injuries. And in fact, I had to carry one of my best buddies up. It was something that had to be done, and I'm still glad I was a part of it, yes, very definitely.
Warren Barrett's service to his country didn't end on the battlefields of Normandy. He went on to serve a full career as an officer in the United States Air Force.
Yeah, after retiring from the military, he returned to Wichita, where he sold real estate and served as the property manager for the Wichita area Girl Scouts. Warren Barrett, a true hero of the greatest generation, passed away in 2007 at the age of 86. I was on the Normandy beaches a few months ago, trying to imagine in my mind what it would have been like during the invasion. And I can't even get my mind around it.
You can't, can you?
The bravery of those. And he was flying a glider. And if you were in a glider, you were pretty much, I think, thinking you're going to die.
Well, yeah.
Because it has to crash land somewhere, and many of them crashed in trees and killed everybody on board. I mean, it was just an unbelievable experience. And to see where it happened and to hear his story, those were people who were brave beyond imagination.
And that's why they call them the greatest generation.
Yep.
They truly were.
Yep.
They don't make them like that anymore.
No, unfortunately they don't. All right, everybody, for many, building models is a nostalgic hobby, a way to recreate a piece of history in miniature.
But in 1994, we met a Kansas man named Ray Burning, whose handmade metal aircraft were flawless masterpieces of precision.
Yeah, and his work was so amazing, in fact, it earned the personal attention of a former commander-in-chief.
We could be on a runway waiting for this F-86 to take off. We're not.
Well, this is the lightweight. That's why I chose it. It's easy to carry. You know.
This is Ray Burning's hobby. He builds planes from the 40s and 50s that helped win the war.
Yeah, I grew up in World War II. I was just a kid, and every time I'd see a plane in the sky, an old warplane, man, I was just fascinated, you know.
The planes are all built out of aluminum at 1/10 scale.
But it's real rigid. I mean, they're strong. You can just grab it like that, and you know, it ain't gonna break.
P-47s, P-51s, P-39s, and others stand like aging sentries in the basement of the Bering home.
It is a feeling of pride. It really is. Yeah, I have to admit that. Boy, yeah, it looks good, and you can't wait till you get the finished pieces on there. So then I kind of hustle towards the end.
One of his favorites is this World War II Avenger, like the one former President George Bush flew.
I took a nice picture of it, 5x7, sent it to George Bush for him to see. told him what my intentions were, asked him if he would send me a picture of him and his real plane. By golly, he did.
The insides of the planes are wood with the aluminum wrapped around, but Burning also uses aluminum he finds around the house.
Like these compound curves across here, there are coffee pots, aluminum canisters and stuff.
And these drop tanks, while not aluminum, are unusual.
So I went to the grocery store and ran across plastic mustard bottles, Took two of them, put them together, put a nose spinner on them, glued them back.
Ray Burning loves these old aircraft. He puts part of himself into every one he builds.
My biggest ambition yet is to get a ride in one of these. Now I've got some friends that own some of these, and one of these days I'm going to talk my way into it.
It would break his heart to part with these old planes.
I couldn't do it.
So his children will eventually each receive one, someday.
I've never been able to do too much for my family, but when I'm gone, then each one will get one as a keepsake, if nothing else.
Ray Burning has since passed away, but his son Rex said he loved building those planes for the rest of his life. After his death, his remarkable creations were passed down to his children as a cherished family legacy.
And it is a legacy you can still see today right here in Wichita. Two of his masterpieces, a B-29 and an F-16, are on display at the Museum of World Treasures, a lasting tribute to a master craftsman. I'm always awed and amazed at the talent people have.
The talent people have, and they just go along their merry way
Yeah.
and produce, and don't need a lot of publicity, don't need to be on YouTube. They just produce and they enjoy themselves.
They do, but that talent, it's a raw, native talent.
It is.
You can't go to school and create that talent and say, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. You either have it or you don't. And people like him had it.
Ray certainly had it.
Yeah. Well, while Ray Burning's legacy was forged in metal, our next story is about a legacy that quite literally grew from the Kansas soil.
In 1994, retired farmer Jay Sundgren of Lindsborg showed us his collection of flawlessly carved wooden cars, trucks, and tractors.
Yeah, but the real story was the wood itself. Each piece of walnut came from trees planted by his own father's hands, planted generations before.
It's a place where cats play in the warming sun. A place where nature smells like the morning dew.
I'm content.
That's where you'll find Jay Sundgren, a retired farmer who lives in the country near Lindsborg.
I'm Swedish, full-blooded Swede.
Under the shade of these historic walnut trees, in a garage adjacent to his home, Jay molds wood from the old walnut tree into gifts and pieces of art.
I always admired old cars and antique cars, and of course, when I was growing up, why, the Maxwells and the old Tin Lizzies, and the buggies, they were the only things for transportation. It's good therapy.
Retired from farming 10,000 acres, Jay's life is here where the sun is a little softer and time a little slower.
Time is the most precious thing I have now. Find enough time to do the things.
Things include building all types of models out of wood. Walnut models of trucks, cars, and sleds, and wagons. They all line his shelves of his home.
I haven't sold any of these cars or anything.
And he won't.
Guess I haven't been hungry enough or something.
Since his wife died a couple of years back, many of the models go to his 3 daughters. The wood stays in the family.
I have a real close feeling to the walnut tree.
That's because his father planted these trees 70 years ago. The wood for the models comes from them. With his human family grown, his life is here under the walnut trees with the cats.
Come on, kitty. That's my family now. I have to take care of them. Come on, kitty.
In the sun, his work sits like pictures from the past, pictures that come from the gentle mind of Jay Sundgren.
I retired to doing things I like to do. I got the best of both worlds.
Jay Sundgren continued carving his creations for many more years, passing away in 2018 at the age of 97. After his death, each of his daughters received one of the beloved walnut cars as a special keepsake.
And the rest of his vast collection was sold at an estate sale, and my guess is his daughters treasure those. One of the most treasured things they have.
I mean, hand-carved wood
yeah.
and walnut from trees your
Planted by his
grandfather
father.
or great-grandfather planted?
Yeah.
I mean, that's precious,
Yeah.
precious, precious.
All right, everybody, in 1984, I met a woman on the Northeast Kansas farm whose calling was care and healing.
Louise Unrain labored in quiet compassion, asking for nothing in return. Her only reward was in offering a place of comfort and care.
For most of us, the closest we come to having any kind of a wild animal is a kitten or maybe a dog. And you know, we try to take care of animals like these because they're our pets. Well, wild animals need someone on their side, and that someone is a woman who lives in Mayetta, Kansas.
A steamy afternoon in Northeast Kansas. Hot, muggy, a real lazy day. Lazy except for Louise Unrein, one of the human members on this 80-acre farm near Mayetta.
Come on, Sam.
Louise is a combination nurse and social worker. Her clients are animals. She is licensed by both the Department of Interior and the Kansas Forestry, Fish and Game Commission. Her mission? To care for injured and orphaned animals. Orphans like the mischievous Sammy the bobcat. Sammy learned a lesson today, the hard way. You don't mess with a domestic tabby.
My husband's very kind, but he says I'm a real do-gooder. He said if I mind my own business. But I think animals are my business.
Animals she's got. Geese, pigs, mustangs, raccoons, donkeys, hawks, coyotes, cats, dogs, and not to forget, Sammy, the bobcat. That old Sammy, always a kidder.
My oldest son says, Mother, you can't save the world, but if you don't try, then you might as well quit, hadn't you? You know, you got to keep trying. He's pretty tolerant, isn't he? I know a lot of people won't agree with what I say, but I've put a lot of thought into this, and I think there are worse things for animals than death. But the alternatives, like dumping, starving to death, if people would see some of the things, the birds, even wildlife that I get to take care of, or dogs and cats, that the condition that they come in, death is good.
Animals like Sammy are lucky, but Louise says the responsibility for their care belongs to all of us.
Children and animals, you know, are at the mercy of adults. If we don't have some empathy for them, I think we're going to lose the children and all the animals.
Even though she doesn't get paid for the care or the food, Louise will continue her work with animals. For her, animals like Sammy are not pets. They are her guests.
Oh, you want down.
And who knows, maybe through her work, she can change the world.
Okay.
It's worth a try. I'm Larry Hatteberg.
Oh, he really is. He's a charmer.
In addition to being a licensed wildlife rehabilitator, Louise also spent many years as a 6th grade teacher and a school bus driver in Hoyt, Kansas.
She was also active in her community, serving on the board for a local mental health center. Louise Unrein, a woman who dedicated her life to caring for Kansas's most vulnerable. Well, she passed away in 2006 at age of 79. She obviously very active in her community, but doing that for wildlife, you know, somebody, it's so nice that somebody can do that. And she had a very caring spirit, and the whole community benefited from it.
And volunteered her time, too. And then she taught 6th grade and drove a school bus.
I'm getting tired already. These people do so many things.
They do so many things.
Unbelievable.
Okay, yeah, we are tired. In fact, that's a wrap for this week. We want to remind you now that federal funding has been taken away, PBS Kansas needs to decide which programs to keep and which ones to cancel.
Now, Susan and I volunteer our time here, but producing television shows, it is incredibly expensive. So if you'd like to see Hatteberg's People continue, you can go to kpts.org and make a $100 donation to help keep this show funded.
And as a thank you, your name will appear in the closing credits in the near future as a valued supporter. The credits of a future Hatteberg's People show.
There you go.
Yay! We thank you so much for watching. I'm Susan Peters.
And I'm Larry Hatteberg. We hope to see you again very soon.